call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Great, we're going to move straight into the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda? I personally would like to start off with one amendment. Ms. Cass, can you add as a discussion item a letter to CPO administration?
Yeah. So that's under new business.
Yeah, and I will go ahead and link it.
Okay, I got that. And then Sarah.
Yes. Can I strike bag, please?
Yeah. And Momina.
Can I strike SFS?
Okay, got it. And then Angie.
Hi, can I strike ASRF and travel mini grant, as well as my appointment on the Committee on Teaching?
Yeah. Arman.
Hi, everyone. Can I change TSR officer report to verbal?
Yeah. Okay. I just changed it. Are there any more amendments? Okay, I think Breezy can take it away now.
Awesome. Okay, so we need a motion to approve the agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
I motion to approve the agenda.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Momina motions, Maya seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Miss Janie Jane, are you with us? Okay. By a vote of, wait, Josh, would it be 11-2020, right?
That is, yes, that's correct.
Okay. By a vote of 11-2020, the motion passes and the agenda for today's date is approved. Great. We're moving on to the approval of the minutes for, hold on one sec. I believe it was the 29th. The 28th. Okay. Moving on to the approval of minutes for the 28th. Can I get a motion, please? Wait, Cass, did you see Jane's message?
Yeah, I did. Am I allowed to just do that?
I think you can, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, wait. Josh, so we would have to vote on it one more time.
Yeah, we've technically voted it in. It's fine. When we get to TGIF, we could pass.
Okay.
That's the easiest way without having to revote.
Okay, council members, just so I don't lose track, can you guys please lower your hands once the vote has passed? Thank you. Okay, great. Can I get a motion for last week's agenda, which was the 28th? I hope everyone had a chance to review the minutes. Hello?
Oh, I moved to approve the minutes from September 28th.
Okay, can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, Jane motions, Emily seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, 11. All abstain. Oh, Tay, you can't vote on it, so you would abstain, I think. So right now, let's call that. So 11. Okay, all abstaining, please raise your hands. Okay, all against? Yeah. So by a vote of 11-022, the agenda for September 28th is approved. Awesome. We're going to be moving straight into public comment. Public comment are 30 minutes that are allocated for each member of the public to get the opportunity to speak to us. Every individual will get 2 minutes to speak or emerge challenge ideas, not individuals. Use gender inclusive and respectful language. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability. Each speaker will be given the opportunity to speak once. No dehumanizing language, please. And with that, we are going to go ahead and start public comment, and we will call on you. Please go ahead and raise your hand at this time if you would like to give public comment, and Cass will promote you. And Radha, when you are ready, you are good to go.
Okay, hi. My camera wasn't working. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Radha. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm the chapter chair of CalPERS Students at UCLA. And obviously, CalPERS Students is a student-directed and funded nonprofit organization. We started nearly 50 years ago by students who wanted to protect the environment, make college affordable, and promote civic engagement. And after a 2-week recruitment drive, collecting petitions, doing announcements in classes, and posting on social media, we have gathered 1,300 cards from students interested in interning and volunteering with us to make a direct impact on our campaigns. I'm so excited to announce that this quarter we are launching all of our campaigns tomorrow at our biggest kickoff meeting of the year with over 130 attendees. To recap, we're going to continue working on getting California to 100% clean energy, making textbooks more affordable on our campus, and ending oil drilling in California, and alleviating hunger and homelessness. And this is all incredible work that we can't wait to start. But in addition to that, I'm also happy to announce that today we got 4 plastic bills passed and signed by Governor Newsom. A couple of ones to note: the first bill is AB 1201, which bans toxic PFAS, forever chemicals, to ensure that manufactured products don't contaminate organic agriculture. And the second bill is SB 343, which makes manufacturers no longer allowed to use the chasing arrows sign, recycling symbol, on items that aren't actually recyclable. On behalf of CalPERS, I'm so proud of all the volunteers who stepped forward to lobby and get yeses on key swing votes in the state in the effort to protect our environment. And aside from that, I can't wait for us to launch our campaigns and carry out our long-lasting legacy this year. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Radha. We really appreciate all your advocacy and for letting us know all the cool things y'all are up to. Okay. Is there anyone else that would like public comment? Going once, going twice. If not, we conclude public comment at 7:11 p.m. Great. Moving straight into funding. Capital contingency. I'm not sure, Ryan.
Hello, sorry about that. So this week we had a total of $7,284.91 requested, and then the total amount allocated by the Finance Committee was $3,722.95, or to 6 non-USAC entities. And then I'll put in the chat for everybody's.
Okay, thank you so much. And once council members have had the opportunity to review, can I please get, these are all for non-USAC entities, correct, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay, so make sure that you say that, council member, whoever it is that will give the motion. I know tonight's everyone's a little shy giving motions, but remember, the quicker we do motions, the quicker we move along. Maya?
Sorry, I was gonna motion, but I accidentally raised my hand instead of unmute.
No worries.
But I moved to allocate $3,722.95 to non-USAC entities.
Awesome, can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, Maya motions, Angie seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, by a vote of 11 to 0 to 0, the motion passes and capital contingency is approved for the week. Next up, contingency programming. Ryan, you have the floor yet again.
I don't think I have anything regarding that topic.
Oh, okay, perfect. So we can go ahead and strike that. I think we can just move straight along. Tay, you also said you were striking SWC programming.
Oh, no, I actually have one today.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
So should I go now?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we're SWC is allocating $500 to the Undergraduate Psychology Society at UCLA for their mental health first aid training and certification, which will take place on October 21st, 2021. Is that it?
Yeah, so it's only a consent item, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then it would be if anyone has any objection, voice it now, I suppose. If not, okay, you are good to go. Thank you so much. Great. Okay, moving straight into ARC prom.
There are no ARC allocations for this week. Sorry, I got here a little late, so I couldn't strike it.
No worries. Great. Okay, moving TGIF. Jane. Oh, Jane also wanted.
Oh, sorry, I strike TGIF.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Moving straight then into appointments. And with that, can we, when we promote Navda, can we also promote Jeremy? I'm not sure if Navda is here. If you can please raise your hand. Oh, perfect. There you go. I see you now. And Jeremy. Awesome. Jeremy, you have the floor. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Breeze. So hi, everyone. Good to be back here. It's my pleasure to introduce Navda Sharma tonight for the position of ASUCLA Comms Board. So she told us about her experiences in Pack Ties magazine over this past year and just writing for the APTA community. And she expressed how being involved in student media really made her realize how important it was. And now she wants to take this position on Comms Board to push the limits of student media and support these different organizations. We also really appreciated that she wanted to outreach to different communities to ensure that their voices are heard over the next year. So I'm happy to introduce Navda, and feel free to introduce yourself as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Navda Sharma, and I guess I'm a third-year neuroscience major. My pronouns are she, her, hers. There were two reasons I applied to the ASUCLA Communications Board. One, as Jeremy already stated, I have been a part of the Pacific Ties News magazine as a writer for the past year, and I have seen the areas which have scope for improvement, especially in terms of recruitment of staff and increasing the outreach to the student community, which is very less. And the second reason was kind of personal. I've always been a bit shy, and that is why I resorted to writing as a medium of expressing my thoughts, feelings, and I want to push my limits and kind of explore a new front. And I feel that as a member of this board, I'll be able to do just that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Navda. I love the introduction. Great. So we will be moving straight into council Q&A. Council members, if you have questions, raise your hand and I will go ahead and call on you. I believe Emily, then Angie.
Hi, Navda. Thanks for being here. I was just wondering, what are some plans that you would have if you were to be on the communications board?
So I have three major kind of goals. First is to increase student outreach, because I feel that the news, especially the news magazines, which represent a kind of a wide variety of communities, they don't have that much of an outreach, because I work for Pack Ties and I know that. So I feel it's kind of unfair to the communities that they're representing. So basically the plan was kind of the news, all the departments should be kind of able to hold socials, which will basically, students identifying with different communities will be able to get together, and that will increase solidarity, inclusivity. My second main goal was kind of recruitment of staff. I've seen the shortage of staff that Pack Ties faced, and I learned that all the all the components of the student media, they have faced kind of similar kind of problem. So I feel especially that can be increased with the fact that the maximum recruitment occurs at the enormous activities fair. And if the students are aware of the fact that they are getting to work for prestigious organization like the UCLA Student Media, which they don't at the EAF, because every component of the student media has different stalls and they're separated. So if they get to know the fact that they're getting to work for UCLA Student Media, it will automatically increase recruitment of staff. And the third and most important, I feel, is mental health of student journalists. All the components of the student media should have the ability to kind of hold sessions with gaps to maintain the health of the student journalists, because they are an important part of the community and we often cover a lot of sensitive topics.
And
Hi, Navda. Thank you for being here. I was wondering how you will outreach to different news mags on campus and amplify the work that they're doing.
So, as I said, holding socials is the best way to get the students to know each other. Students identifying with several communities, when they get to know each other, that will automatically increase outreach. And I guess all the news magazines should have a kind of a collaborative yearly newsletter where they all share the same platform and are not exactly separate entities.
Cass?
Hi, my question for you is, how would you approach disagreement in this space with handling different types of like media groups?
I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi cut off for a moment.
Yeah, I can repeat it. How would you handle disagreement when it comes to like, just like disagreement with different media groups on campus?
It's like between media groups or like within media groups? Because
yeah, either within like, or just like between media groups, or just the people you interact if there's ever a disagreement when it comes to this position.
I guess hearing out all the sides and then working out a compromise is the best way. But I would certainly like to emphasize on the fact that here I would be hearing all the sides out, because that is the best way to resolve an argument or disagreement.
Okay, Momina?
Hi, thank you for being here. So I wanted to ask you about how you as a member of the communications board would kind of reconcile decisions made by the communications board that may conflict with decisions made by the staff in different publications. Like say there's a conflicting decision about the editor-in-chief position, and how would you maintain transparency between like the decisions that are ultimately made by the communications board if they disagree with the decisions of staff on like who should be chief of staff, for instance, or sorry, editor-in-chief, for instance.
So I guess for such issues, transparency is the best way. Being transparent with the student media, I guess there should be transparency between the communications board and the student media. If there's a specific issue like editor-in-chief, the component of the student media concern should be actually given a detailed account of what was happening while making that decision.
Great. Momina, do you have a follow-up question?
No, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Just remember to lower your hand because that's why I got confused. Tay?
Awesome. Hi again. I kind of want to just ask like how you see yourself contributing to the success of the ASUC like communication board this year.
I feel like the best way I would be able to kind of contribute would be the fact that I can draw on my experiences in the student media, and that will help me kind of, I guess, navigate through it all, because I have firsthand experience and I know how the things are handled there and what can be bettered.
Okay, again.
Sorry, Breeze. And also sorry, great answer. One more question, and this was kind of touched on by previous council members, but how will you go about advocating for the student, like marginalized student media outlets as like a comm board member?
So I feel all like a lot of the marginalized communities are already represented by the news magazines and the 7 news magazines that UCLA Student Media has. So basically advocating for them is by increasing student outreach, which is one of my goals.
Awesome. Are there any other questions? Okay. If not, Navda, you are free to give your closing statement.
So basically, I would just like to say that I believe that I'll be a good fit for this position because, as I already said, I can draw on my previous experiences and the goals that I have to better the student media will kind of aid in that. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. ARC?
Yeah, from ARC, ARC gives 0 to 3 to 0, no recommendation. We did admire Navda's passion for writing and the story behind writing to use as expression, but we wanted to ask like further questions to her at council tonight, just to see more of her vision for the position and also how she would like advocate and interact with different like communities and people when it comes to this position. But I think we would probably need a discussion.
Okay, council members, you are free to discuss at this time.
I guess I'm curious for ARC members, if they could kind of discuss like what they felt after this interview, so we can go from there.
I can go. Sorry for the delay. I was trying to like collect my thoughts. So I enjoyed this interview a lot. I think the previous ARC interview, there was still a lot to be answered. I guess in all like full transparency, I'm still kind of thinking about how I'm going to vote. I do love her passion. I also like her story too. I love the idea of like being shy and then like, you know, using writing to express yourself and like using that as like a creative outlet. I love that so much. I do think that she has a lot of opportunity to grow and flourish in this position. I'm just a little worried about the marginalized student media leaders of color, like those magazines, and making sure that they're being advocated for. So that's like kind of like my thought process at this moment. So I kind of want to hear what other people think.
I can jump in as well. I think one of the things that I noticed in the ARC interview that I think is also a concern, definitely agreeing with everything that Tay is saying, is also the awareness of the experiences that transfer students have in our different media outlets at UCLA. That was something that was not necessarily articulated very well, on something that I think could have been a part of the outreach messaging that was some of the goals that were expressed, specifically considering the fact that transfers struggle to get involved with things like the different news magazines and radio and the Daily Bruin that we have here at UCLA. And so that's one of the things that I think that I wanted to see come up more naturally that also wasn't here. But I also definitely also understand and appreciate that willingness to grow through the potentials of writing and media.
Breeze has to step out, but did anyone like have anything else to add on to discussion? Momina?
I agree with everything that's been said so far. And then for my question, I think I also saw in the interview emphasizing the importance of transparency. And I think for my question, that was also emphasized, since that position oversees a lot of different media and news magazines and other entities. So that's really important. So, but I do agree that this would be like a great way for growth in the position itself.
Thank you, Momina. Anyone else from council? Okay, if not, I think we would move into voting. So can I get a motion to appoint Navda to ASUCLA Communications Board?
I move to appoint Navda to the Communications Board.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Taylani motions, Angie seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, and then all opposed. And all abstaining. Okay, so 6-4-0. Josh, does that mean Navda is appointed?
Yes, that means she
Okay.
is appointed with a majority vote of a 6-4-0, correct?
Okay. Yay, congratulations, Navda. You have been appointed to ASUCLA Communications Board. So you're free to like just hop off the Zoom. Yeah. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and then our next appointment is Josh.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to be introducing Josh today. Before I get started, I did want to say that my second appointment, Kyle, is currently in class, and so he's going to be a little late to tonight's council meeting because his class runs late. It's a night class, so he'll be coming back in a little bit later, just so that we're aware of that. But I'm super excited to introduce Josh Boynton as a prospective appointment for the Academic Senate's Undergraduate Council. In my interview with Josh, I found that his past experience serving on a curriculum committee, as well as his passion and commitment to serving the student body, make him really well fit to be one of our very first transfer appointments to the Undergraduate Council. And with that, I will go ahead and pass it off to Josh to give his opening statement.
Hi, thank you. Good evening. Members of USAC, thank you for your time and consideration tonight. Coming in as a transfer student, I knew I had less time to get involved and make an impact than most, conventional 4 years. with those two qualifiers getting involved and having less time, it was no surprise when USAC and the Academic Senate caught my gaze. While at community college, like it was said, I was involved in the Associated Students and the Curriculum Committee, where I received valuable experience in both understanding academic politics and government, how to serve the needs of the student body, and how to express my voice and the voices of those I represented. It is my hope that I might bring the same knowledge and understanding to the undergraduate council within the UCLA Academic Senate. I hope to be a voice for all students and their interests if appointed. My personal philosophy on academic governance is to always bring it back to the students, and that's how I hope to serve, completely student-minded.
Thank you, Josh, for your opening statement. We'll begin Q&A from council. So council, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Taylani.
Awesome. Hi, Josh. My question is, where are you looking forward to the most in your position, if appointed?
I think the thing I'm looking forward to most is really getting a full understanding of how the undergraduate council specifically goes about the different avenues of student needs, if that makes sense. So I'm very interested in seeing how we're going to go about advocating for transfer students, for instance, or the certain needs of different groups, different communities that we see throughout the UCLA campus. That's something I'm really interested in seeing about how we go about and sharing my own voice and sharing, the interests and the needs of those specific groups. And it's something I really hope to get involved with.
Thank you. Any more questions from council? Awesome.
Hey, Josh. Thanks for joining us today. So as you probably know, the UGC does oversee and review, degrees of study and courses of study. And a really common concern among students is, sometimes unit counts don't actually reflect the amount of work that they're putting in. So how would you kind of voice this concern to members of the UGC, as well as gather data and try to remedy this as possible to the best of your abilities?
Yeah, of course, a total valid concern. As I said, with experience on the curriculum committee at Cypress College, I understand that UCLA is at a different scale than that, of course, but nonetheless, we deal with these similar issues at community college, similar stuff regarding, units and the academic requirements and whatnot, prereqs and the like. And this sounds very similar to that. And regarding your question, I thought was interesting about, polling and gathering data. I'm perfectly happy and willing to set up any sort of project of my own that would poll students, that would gather data and, see their opinions on things. I think that might be a worthwhile endeavor to, get firsthand their opinions on things and really take that into consideration when, making any sort of legislation or decisions that would go through the undergraduate council.
Thank you, Josh. Any more questions from council? Okay, if not, you can go ahead and give your closing statement.
I just wanted to say thank you one more time to the USAC members for your time and consideration. I realize, I realize that it's a privilege to be at an institution like UCLA, and I've been given a tremendous opportunity for being here, and I hope to use that opportunity to once again serve the needs and interests of the undergraduate student body to help better this campus and the students at large. Thank you.
Thank you. And an ARC recommendation. ARC gives 2 to 1 to 0 a positive recommendation. ARC is confident that Josh will do an amazing job under the Academic Senate Undergraduate Council based off of his interview, where he explained the different types of frameworks when it comes to communication and how he would approach certain different situations. We think that he'll do a great job. Anyone from ARC want to add on anything? or from council? Okay, I guess that means we can vote now. So can I get a motion?
I move to appoint Josh Boynton to the Academic Senate's Undergraduate Council.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Wait, who's second?
That was me.
Okay, okay, sorry. So Herman motions and Andrew seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. And then all opposed. All abstaining. Okay, so 10 to 0 to 0. Josh is appointed to Academic Senate Undergraduate Council. Congratulations.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Of course. Have a good night. Now we can move on to our next appointment. I don't think Breeze is back. And that's Kyle. Is Kyle here?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, he's in class and he should be joining us soon, but he is going to be a little late
Okay.
today. But yeah, he should be joining a little bit later.
Let's just move on to the next person, and when he joins, we can jump back.
Okay, for sure. And then we can move on to Tay's appointment. So Tay, do you want to give like an introduction?
Yes. Also, I wanted to add that Sean would be a consent item rather than an actual interview. I'm so sorry, ARC, for having y'all interview. But yeah, I just read the Constitution. But
would I change the agenda right now to consent item?
Yeah.
Is that allowed, Josh?
Yeah, we were privately chatting back and forth after the realization, so it is totally okay. We're just, it was accidentally noted, so what we're just gonna do is change it right now to consent. And then Tay, you can go over and kind of do an overview of the role, and if anyone has any concerns, we would bring that up. If not, it would be a consent vote and we could just move forward.
Okay, awesome. Sorry about that again, guys. But basically, Sean, if you haven't heard of him already, I'm pretty sure most of y'all have, because he's an advocate, like the prime advocate. Yeah, basically he's a HBS and third double major with a public health minor. So perfect for the committee that he'll be appointed to, because he's like actively studying from the care office to FSPH, which is the Affiliation School of Public Health. He's heavily involved in all things LGBTQ advocacy, which makes him a perfect addition to the LGBTQ affairs committee. Yeah, so basically he'll just be doing advisory oversight of all things LGBTQ related on campus, and he'll be working with like folks from the LGBTQ Campus Resource Center and other entities and other stakeholders like that. Basically just making sure that we are doing okay in that. I'm so sorry, I wasn't prepared to give an overview of the committee itself, just of Sean. But yeah, I highly recommend Sean, and so does Andy. So yeah, everyone loves him, it seems like.
Awesome. Okay, and with that consent, then Josh, we could just move forward, right?
Yeah, Breeze, we just want to ask if anyone has any concerns or opposes, and with no opposition, then Sean would be appointed.
Any opposition by council?
I don't have opposition, but can I say something in support? Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I just want to say that I am so excited for Sean to be taking on this role. I just want to share that Sean has already reached out to me about like learning more about the transfer community and ensuring to be an advocate for transfers in the LGBTQ committee space before he was even appointed, and he's like not even a voting item, like he's a consent item. And so I just wanted to share that that's something that I really appreciate. He is so far the first and only direct entry student appointment that has taken the time to reach out to me about learning more about transfers and really foregrounding that experience in the work that they're doing as an appointment. And so I just wanted to share how much I appreciated that and how excited I am to see Sean step into this role.
Oh, I love that. Sean's one of my besties, so I absolutely agree with all of that. Great. Okay. If anyone has any opposition, if not, Sean, congratulations. You are appointed to the LGBTQ Affairs Committee. Thank you so much for showing up tonight.
Thank you all so much for everything that y'all said. I also got dressed up for this. I didn't know if that was supposed to be part of the criteria, but I just want to say thank you all so much. It's honestly a pleasure to be in the presence of you all, and I'm really excited for this role. So thank you all so much for all the lovely things that you said.
Oh, love you, Sean. Okay, awesome. Moving straight into CSC, Nathan. Is Nathan
Oh,
here?
sorry, that's me. Sorry, my Wi-Fi's out and I'm on my phone. Yeah, Nathan is also a consent item, so I don't believe he has to come to council. But it's just for the campus sustainability committee. They meet kind of once a month to talk about matters of campus sustainability. It's overseen by the chief and the deputy chief of sustainability at UCLA.
Awesome. Okay. If there are no opposition to Nathan, then Erman, or did we go over Kyle? Sorry.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that Kyle is in class right now, but his class will be ending soon, so he'll just be coming to council a little bit later. So if we can just like come back to him whenever he's able to join the Zoom, which should be relatively soon.
Okay, question. So, oh, I don't know where that individual went. We had someone here, and I don't know if that person already brought it up. We voted on Jenny's replacement today. So we voted on capital contingency. He meant to say contingency programming. So we voted on the wrong thing, and I think we have to undo the other one. But that person, I don't see them here anymore. So I don't know if that vote happened when I wasn't here, or if nothing was brought up. I don't know what we would do then, Josh.
Sorry, so instead of voting in contingency programming, we voted in capital contingency. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so, and then he messaged me and he told me that we voted for the wrong one. So yeah, I don't know then what we would do. And also I feel like if we voted now and he's not here, like, I just want to make sure that, you know, it's not like inaccurate. So I don't know what we would do in this case.
So I think that the totals still stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we do is we just make sure that we do a vote for contingency programming. The application for the total amount of $3,722.95 for 6 non-USAC. We just motion that in, and that is our vote for the evening.
Okay. Okay, can I get a motion for that then, please?
What's the language again? I'm sorry. For like what we're doing.
I'll drop it in the chat right now. Sorry.
I move to approve contingency programming to 6 non-USAC and 0 USAC entities for $3,722.95.
Awesome. Can I get a second, please?
I second.
Tay motions, Jane seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands.
I don't know how to raise my hand on my phone, but I am. Oh, wait, I figured it out.
Okay, no worries. And by a vote of 12 to 0, the motion passes and the amount for contingency programming, no, capital contingency program is approved. Awesome.
Contingency programming,
Contingency program.
not capital contingency. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we voted on.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, you're good.
Okay, great. So I think with that, we'll move straight into officer reports. Yeah, so I can go ahead and start. Let me pull up my notes real quick. So attached on the link, you guys are gonna find what I received from Mick DeLuca, as well as CC'd with CPO administration, what the funds that we were supposed to, I guess, the receipts that we were supposed to get, or like programming allocations. So I will be bringing up a letter and that you will find later on, so we can go over that then. I personally am a little disappointed over the fact that, you know, there has been issues with the last 5 years at least, and we're only being given receipts for the past year. And in my meeting with Vice Chancellor Monroe Gordon, I brought up this issue and he informed me, I guess, that last year was only voted on for the previous year. So that when Naomi signed that memoranda, it was only ensuring that the budget would be given for like the last year, 2020, 2021 school year, which I informed him that's cool and all, but we are new USAC council members and the current mother organization leaders also feel that all the receipts should be present, not just this last year. So that's where you will find later in the letter. Yeah, that is one item I want to bring up. So next I'll talk about like everything else. We launched Small Business Saturdays. We are currently in the process of making our website. So when that launches, that's something that we can all look forward to. But for right now, we started those. In terms of me and my meeting with the Vice Chancellor, we discussed the meeting with the Chancellor that will happen later this week. And we discussed COVID policies and academic policies. I went ahead and spoke with Megan McAvoy, who chairs the Response and Recovery Task Force. And we kind of discussed the attendance policies that are happening right now. And in terms of how we can better support students that, you know, might be being forced to go to class at this time, despite, you know, everything ongoing with COVID. And there was also, I was just informed right now, thankfully, there was going to be a drop for students that was voted on yesterday that would have resulted in students who have not fully received the vaccine to be dropped from their classes. However, it was moved that instead of that, there will be a hold placed in November when they try to register for their winter quarter classes. And this is of course only for students that I guess need to receive their second vaccine. We are currently working on a COVID-19 FAQ guide, and that is, we sent it over to VC Gordon so that hopefully we can attach it in our email to students as a council, as well as a HERF funding FAQ. These are both gathered over my past month of meetings on both of these. And yes, we will be launching Seat at the Table next week, as well as Seat with Administration next week, both at council. And finally, our Student Advocate Board training is set to happen October 22nd from 3 to 5 p.m. And finally, I guess in terms of cases that I've had, we heard back from 2, and 2 students no longer will be suspended. So that's always a great thing. Great. Okay, so moving straight into IVP, Ms. Cass.
Hi, sorry my camera's off because I had to switch to a hotspot. But IVP updates, my fall quarter office hours has been established. So those are on Zoom every Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. or in person at Kirkhoff 300E by appointment. And then I've been working with Haley's office on a few mental health project collabs, and we're releasing the mental health resource guide very soon. And then My office is also in contact with UCLA CARE so that we can host SVSH trainings open to students, student orgs, and leaders, while also outlining the SVSH student org handbook with soul and care so that student orgs know what to do if this ever occurs in their space. And then I'm in communication with Dr. Ananya Roy from Divest Invest for potential collaborations on abolition this quarter. I met with Bruins for Accessible Resources and Bruins Shelter to finalize our plan for a housing resource guide. And then the IVP internship is meeting next week, which will be hybrid online classes and in-person socials that are following COVID procedures. And then lastly, the USAC IVP leadership lobby is running now. It was in the recent Soul newsletters, so student leaders have been joining the Slack and sharing resources with one another. So I'll probably send the link somewhere in the chat very soon because it's pretty nice space so far. And then I'll pass it off to EVP Sarah.
Cool, thank you so much, Cass. The first thing is just kind of like an urgent ask. I'm sorry for the tight turnaround, but we actually just got word today that Governor Newsom will be signing AB 928. That's the Student Transfer Achievement Reform Act. So just for context, this bill was introduced by Assembly Member Berman, and it is a landmark bill that will help streamline the pathway to a four-year college for transfer students. It'll establish a committee with students from K-12 schools, community colleges, and various public and private universities. It'll consolidate a lot of the GE transfer pathways, both for the UC and the Cal State system. It'll help students save time and money, and it'll also help place community college students on like an associate degree for transfer pathway. And this is just super awesome and could actually save the state millions of dollars. Like it's estimated like $173 million per transfer cohort for the state, just for students accruing fewer units on the GE pathway. And we actually have been invited to join Governor Newsom at CSUN tomorrow at 11 or 10:15 a.m. So if anyone doesn't have class that you know and would like to attend and be part of this historic moment, please let me know as soon as possible by tonight. Again, my apologies for the late turnaround, but super cool opportunity to just be a part of history and get a photo op with Gavin. And then aside from that, we had our first fellowship meeting earlier tonight. I was very excited to see everybody. That was really exciting. And then we're also working on some menstrual equity research. So we're working on getting into contact with CAE and looking up resources for disabled students, getting in contact with the Bruin Resource Center and UC SHIP to see if we can extend like the emergency healthcare services that have been provided during the pandemic to students, just like on the regular, because healthcare should be accessible to all. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Big thing is just AB 928. Thank you all for like everyone who sent in public comments and reposted things. Super awesome. I will pass it off to
Angie.
Angie. Hi, everyone. So earlier today, Jane and I attended a meeting with Monroe Gordon, Michael Beck, Suzanne Seplow, and some other senior admin, along with DSU, to demand that more classes offer remote and hybrid learning options. Admin did not end up giving us a verbal commitment to doing so. So I will be writing a proposal to go through UGC, and DSU will be continuing with their protest on Friday. Please come if you are able and show your support, and encourage your offices to come as well. As council members, it's extremely important that we stand in solidarity with disabled and immunocompromised students who have been advocating extremely hard to have an equitable and accessible learning experience without putting their health and safety at risk. And opening up these different learning modalities doesn't only make education more accessible to disabled folks, but also to parenting students and commuter students and anyone else who just can't attend class. So please boost and spread the word. The protest is happening this Friday from 2 to 4. So yeah, other than that, Haley, Emily, and I had a meeting with financial aid to address the issues of financial aid disbursement for undocumented students. And we were able to get them to commit to working with these students more closely to get their aid dispersed in a timely manner and increase transparency for future quarters. And I'm meeting with the financial aid office later this week to discuss how we can expand the student advocate board to include cases of financial aid and advocate for students on in that aspect as well. But yeah, that's basically it for me, and I will pass it off to Erman.
Thank you so much, Angie. I know I don't usually do verbal report. I've also included a written report with some of the finer details of the past week, but I did have 3 things that I did want to touch on and let all of council know. The first one is that you all should have received an email from my director of student activities regarding completing a transfer awareness training for your office. Shout out to those of you who did reply already. Thank you so much. But if you have not, please make sure that you schedule that. It was really great to be able to give you guys a preliminary transfer awareness training over the summer, but it's also really important that you each schedule one for all of your office so that whatever advocacy and support items that your offices are doing, they can ensure that they are supportive of the transfer community. So if you can make sure to reply to that, that would be really amazing. I also just wanted to touch on some of those scheduling aspects as well to just ensure that those first steps are completed for supporting the transfer community this year. So yeah, if y'all can make sure to get to that, that would be really amazing. Thanks, y'all. Oh, sorry, one more thing. I did also want to share that the Transfer Leadership Coalition is having their very first meeting of the school year tomorrow from 5 to 6 p.m. at the Transfer Student Center. There will also be a virtual portion of this if you cannot attend in person. The TLC is a really essential organization at UCLA for supporting transfer advocacy in more of an organizing sense outside of USAC. And so we typically have representatives from USAC offices attend. I want to give a shout out to Cass as well for already talking to me about having an IVP rep at the TLC meeting. So I can go ahead and send some more details to you guys, but I would super appreciate if either yourselves or a representative from your offices can attend those TLC meetings that will be occurring roughly once a month on Wednesdays from 5 to 6. But yeah, hope to see you guys there tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, Armand. Let's see. Hold on one sec. Great. Okay, moving straight into admin reps. Jessica?
I don't have any updates today, thanks.
Okay, George? Or I don't think George is here today. Josh?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't find the mute. I have no updates this week. Thank you.
Okay. Orlando? I don't think Orlando's here either. Fernando? Awesome. Thank you, Fernando. And yeah, I met the bestie. He's pretty cool. Great. And finally, Patty.
Everyone, no major updates tonight. Breeze, I think we'll be reaching out to you in regards to seeing if there's any updates for us to include in our annual report for ASUCLA. We want to just have a couple highlights so that we can share from last year. So we'd love for, if there's any big projects that were worked on, I was thinking the Relief Fund or some of the other amazing initiatives that you all did, we'd love to include that. So I'll be reaching out via email. Thank you all.
And Breeze, just Orlando is having some computer issues, but he did want us just to send out a reminder that re-registration and new registration ends this Friday for soul groups.
Perfect. Yeah, that is important to note. So make sure that y'all register or and let your friends know. Great. Okay, so no old business, moving straight into new business. Arman, you have the floor.
Hey again. Fernando, would it be possible for me to have you share screen for this? I could also share my screen. Yeah, the resolution. Thank you so much. Okay, hi everyone. I'm super excited to be bringing this really important resolution regarding expanding UCLA off-campus housing resources, specifically through both college pads and the community housing office. So I won't read it like point by point because hopefully y'all have already reviewed it and y'all can read. So basically, this is in response to the lack of off-campus housing resources that currently exist for students, specifically noting the fact that UCLA does not have the capacity to house every student who wants to be housed on campus, but also does not have any resources to give to students who want to have facilitated access to off-campus housing. UCLA used to have a community housing office that they actually disbanded. And this was an office that had paid administrators, paid student staff, whose job it was to help fellow students have access to housing. When we are at supposedly the #1 public institution of the United States, we should have access to housing for students, and that includes resources for off-campus housing. This is also an issue that disproportionately affects transfer students who have a lack of institutional knowledge and knowledge of the Westwood area when they come. And then, as we saw last spring, were not given the housing guarantees that they were promised, and then were forced to scramble to find off-campus housing without any help from UCLA whatsoever. So this resolution takes two approaches to addressing off-campus housing at UCLA. The first of which is to partner with College Pads, which is a organization that has a bunch of off-campus listings at a variety of institutions across the United States, particularly lots of comparable large public institutions and private institutions to UCLA. And we are asking for UCLA Housing to partner with College Pads to establish a UCLA specific off-campus listing site in order to ensure that students have facilitated access to finding off-campus housing. This is something that will also include oversight from USAC. And then additionally, we are asking UCLA Housing to take concerted steps alongside USAC to create the community housing office again, basically to reinstitute this office that has been taken away, because it is really fundamentally necessary that we have a site at UCLA that helps students access the housing resources that they need to have, whether they want to live on or off campus. But yeah, that is the gist of this resolution. I'm happy to take any questions or concerns. Also, I want to give a brief shout out as well to Cass and Emily and also Jane for their support and help with this resolution. mean,
Oh, Emily, I don't know if you have any questions.
Oh, not a question, just like adding on, just another, I think a important point to highlight within the resolution with regards to college pads is that it shouldn't cost UCLA anything. It's a for-profit company, but their business model is to charge landlords to be able to advertise on the site. So if that is like anyone's potential question or issue, like that's not an issue here.
Thank you for clarifying that, Emily. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Are there any other questions, comments for Arman? If not, I don't think we motion, or yeah, we do have to motion this. Can I get a motion, please?
I guess I can motion. I move to adopt a resolution to expand UCLA off-campus housing resources through college pads and the community housing office.
Awesome. Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay. Arman motions, Sarah seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Great. And by a vote of 12-0, the motion passes and the resolution is approved. Thank you so much, Arman. And you also have the floor for the bylaw change.
Thank you so much. Sorry for taking up so much of today's agenda, y'all. I did want to ask really quickly, since I don't see it in the document itself, was CRC able to make a recommendation? I did send it over a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
I sent it to Cass. But yes, there is one.
Okay, dope.
I think I couldn't edit this document itself. And so I made a copy, but I can just say what the recommendation was.
I think that works.
Okay, cool. Is that, should I, yeah, okay. So, I guess, do you want to present it first?
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you, Maya. I can go ahead and screen share. Here. Okay, cool. So there's two big things that this bylaw change addresses. The first one is the adoption of the ASUCLA Communications Board appointment that is specific to transfer students. So Doria Dean, who is the director of ASUCLA Student Media, has already added a specific appointment to the Communications Board for a transfer student for 1 year. And so essentially the bylaw change is ensuring that that appointment can be made by the TSR. However, due to constitutional language, we can't have it listed under the TSR because the Constitution says that only OP can appoint to ASUCLA Comms Board. So basically this bylaw change says that the Comms Board appointment is made by OP, but that the appointment is made through selection and forwarding by the TSR, so that it can fulfill the constitutional requirement of like being made by OP, but that it can also fulfill the constitutional requirement for Comms Board that it is a transfer specific appointment. And then the second bylaw change is the clarification of the faculty executive committee appointment. So this is a bylaw change that did happen over the summer, but at that point it wasn't clear that the FEC was a committee under the Academic Senate. And so the way that the bylaw was phrased in the change didn't fall under the same language that was being used for all the other Academic Senate appointments. And so this basically just corrects that issue by moving the appointment under the relevant places in our bylaws and clarifying that FEC does fall under the TSR's Academic Senate appointments, and also clarifies that between AAC. So these changes should clarify both of these things for OP and AAC as well as with TSR. But yeah, I can also take any questions on that.
Are there any questions from council members? If not, can I please get a motion? Or, yeah, right, these are a motion because they're bylaw changes. Can I get
Should
a
I
motion, please?
do the CRC recommendation first?
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry, Maya.
No worries. So the by a vote of 3-0 to 1, CRC gives a positive recommendation for the bylaw changes.
Okay, awesome. So can I get a motion? Or unless council members want to discuss, but I don't think I see anyone that wants to discuss. So if I can get a motion.
I move to approve the TSR bylaw changes for the FEC and ASU Comms Board appointments.
Awesome. Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, Armand motions, Angie seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Great, and by a vote of 12-0, the motion passes and the bylaw change is approved. Thank you so much, Armand. Yay. Okay, great. And we're nearing the end of our agenda. I think that Jenny we were going to talk about, but I don't think she's here. So I guess we'll go straight into the letter that I drafted. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I ran this by a few MO leaders. It was kind of a quick turnaround. It was drafted today after I received that Friday, and I was kind of trying to figure out what we should do next in speaking with past MO leaders, as well as, you know, presidents from the past, kind of trying to strategize what the next options are. If y'all are interested, MOs will be meeting Fridays 5 to 6 in the Black Ruin Resource Center. And I feel like that is something I'm going to bring up during this meeting because I am looking through different strategies of what we can do next if we are not to receive those other, I guess, receipts. Because even though I guess that statement of understanding that was signed didn't outline that the past 5 years were going to be given, it was an understanding and it was discussed. And I, as AC, remember that that discussion did happen. So I was a bit confused when I was kind of hit with the, oh, well, this 1 year can already justify it. And also, if you look at, you know, kind of the language within it, it's like, oh, transportation, this amount of money. But, you know, if we as USAC, you know, require all these different situations for students that are applying for transportation for various projects and various initiatives, I feel like we should also receive this and, you know, ask CPO that they provide us exactly what the transportation was for, and a bit more transparency as to what these broad terms mean. So with that said, does anyone have any questions? The next couple of weeks might be a bit busy and I will be bringing it up in my meeting with Jean Block, but I do ask that if y'all are able to attend, please start attending MO meetings. Again, they are Fridays from 5 to 6 at the Black Ruin Resource Center, especially this coming week, as we will be, hopefully, I hope to bring this up in our discussion at that time and see what might be the next steps that we will be taking. And I will be doing research this coming week on that to see how we can possibly relocate these projects if push comes to shove. And yeah, does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, that is all. And yes, please go ahead and sign on. My office will probably be posting this as well, just to inform the student body of what is going on the back end, as this I know has been a pressing issue the past 2 or 3 years. So yeah. And with that, I think that's all. Great. So I don't see anything else that we need to discuss. So hold on one sec. Great. Oh, we're done with meeting really early. We're getting through it, besties. Okay. So Oh, Erman, what about your appointment? Sorry.
Yeah, it looks like he's unable to be here today, so we'll probably have to move him to next week's agenda.
Okay, perfect. And with that, I motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:17 p.m. Yay.
Recording stop.